Advik, am I audible to you?
Ma'am.
Where is Advik?
Ma'am, he is joining.
Okay. Is my screen visible, Advik?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So last time we have left here three main parts of the brain: cerebrum, cerebellum, and the brain stem. These are the three different parts of the brain. Okay. Cerebellum, basically this part is the largest part of the brain. So upper part, which you can see, is the cerebrum. It's the largest part of the brain, and it is composed of the left and the right hemisphere. Hemisphere means division. So in the brain, what will be there? The division will be there. The half the side is called as the left, and the half side is called as the right hemisphere. It performs the functions like the interpreting, touch, vision, and hearing. So with the help of this cerebrum, what we will be identifying the different touch, right? So if someone is touching us or we touch someone, so what happened? We can identify whether it is hot, cold, and all. Then vision, we will be able to see. We will be able to hear. We will be able to say something. We will be able to, speech means to say something, to talk and all. Reason means thinking. We'll be able to think something. Emotions, we can come out. So we cry, we laugh, we'll be sad. So all those things are because of the cerebrum. Then learning and fine control of the movement. So whatever the way how we sit, how we move, everything is like being decided by the cerebrum. So that is why it is the largest part of the brain. Located in the front and the middle part of the brain, it accounts for 85% of the brain's weight. So out of 100% weight, the 85% of the weight is considered for this cerebrum. Of the three main parts of the brain, the cerebrum is considered the most recent to develop in human evolution. So human evolution means from one form to the other form, like, from a small form to a big form. So we also have come from the chimpanzees, gorillas. So finally we have come, right? So as the evolution is happening, as the changes are happening in the body, the most developed part which was developed was the cerebrum part. The cerebrum is responsible for all voluntary action, communication, emotion, creativity, intelligence, and the personality. So because of the cerebrum part, these all things can be done effectively. The second part is the cerebellum. It is for the, actually the statement is written here is the incorrect statement. This cerebellum is basically for the posture and maintenance of the body. So the way how you will be sitting, it will be decided by the cerebellum. Then the third part, brainstem, it consists of two things, pons and medulla oblongata. Right? So this two together are called as brainstem. So why I think it is called as brainstem?
Ma'am, ma'am, because that part connects the brain to the spinal cord.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Because this
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
part will be connecting the brain to the spinal cord. That is, you can see this one. Yeah, this one, this part. See here, this part, now this is called as a brainstem. This will be connected to where? To the spinal cord. That is why it is not clear. Okay, just 1 minute. It is clear? Advait? Advait is coming or no? Advait, to you it is coming or not? Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So this brain stem is the final section of the brain in a mass of tissue and nerves called the brain stem. So basically this brain stem, this part, what they will have the tissues and they will have the nerves. And because of the presence of the nerves, they will be able to pass the messages to the spinal cord. So located underneath the cerebrum and cerebellum, the brain stem connects the brain to the spinal cord. So they will be helping to connect to the spinal cord. So all information that goes from the brain to the body or from the body to the brain, they has to pass to the brain stem. So whatever information is like, from the brain, it is going to the body, or from the body, it is going to the brain. Everything has to be passed from this brain stem. The brainstem accounts for the remaining 5% of the brain mass. So 85% was the cerebrum, the 10% was the cerebellum, and the remaining 5 is for the brainstem. The brainstem is responsible for regulating the heart and the lungs, communication between the brain and the peripheral nervous system, our sleep cycle, and coordinating reflexes. So whatever the fast emotions are there, whatever the fast actions are there, that will be controlled by the brain stem. So medulla oblongata helps regulate breathing. So this brain stem has two parts. One is the pons and the down part is called as the medulla oblongata. So this medulla oblongata, they will be regulating our breathe. So we breathe, right? We will be taking the oxygen inside, we will be releasing the CO2 outside. So that will be done actually through the medulla oblongata. We sneeze. So all of a sudden we feel like to sneeze. That will also be done by the medulla oblongata. We eat the food and then we swallow it. That will also be controlled by the medulla oblongata. So this part of the brain is a center for respiration and circulation. So whatever the respiration is there, whatever circulation is there, that will be happening because of this medulla oblongata. The sensory and motor neuron from the forebrain and midbrain travels through the medulla. So through this medulla only, the sensory neuron and the motor neuron will be coming out and they will be traveling their actions and the responses through this medulla oblongata. The next one are the sense organs. We know we have a different types of the sense organ: to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, and to touch. The first thing are the eyes. They are for the visual system. Visual means to see. They provide animals with vision and the ability to receive and process visual details, as well as enabling several photo response functions that are independent of vision. So with the help of this, whatever, like, whatever is around us, we will be able to see. So you are able to see your parents, parents are able to see you, you are able to see your room, you are able to see your pen, pencil. All those things are because of this vision actually. So eyes deduct light and convert into the electrochemical impulse in neuron. So our eyes, what they will be doing, they will be deducting that light, and then finally the eyes will be converting those radiations into the impulse form, and then they will be helping to send the response. So that is how the eye structure will be. Then second one, and this eye has actually a receptor called as the photoreceptor. Photo means, what is the meaning of photo?
Ma'am, image.
Here in this case, it is light actually, okay? It means light. So with the help of the light, we will be able to see. Fine, like you have the photosynthesis, right? In the case of the photosynthesis, there also photo means light. So wherever you hear the word photo, it means light. For the bio, it means light. Fine. If I talk about physics, then in that case, it will be image. So photoreceptors, they are basically the receptors which will be detecting the light. Now the next one are the nose. The organ for the sense of smell is the nose. So nose will have the nostrils. We breathe in through the nostrils. So with the help of the nostrils, we take the breath inside. Then what do they have actually? They have the olfactory receptors. What do they have? They have a special type of receptor which are called as olfactory receptors. Now, can you tell me in which kind of the animal these olfactory receptors will be most developed?
What, ma'am?
Ma'am, eagle.
In which? Come again?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
you are
ma'am,
asking
dogs.
me.
Dogs.
Correct, dogs. So dogs, they are the animals in which the olfactory receptors will be very, very developed. And that is why you might have seen in the TV and all, right? If any kind of the crime happens. So what do? They will be taking the dog at at the place, at the site where it was dead, the person was dead. So why? Because their nose actually, their olfactory receptors are actually very much developed. And through that nose, they can smell that actually the problem, whatever it is there. So dogs are the animal in which the olfactory receptors are very much developed. So olfactory system is responsible for our sense of smell, and nose is also known as the olfactory organ. Usually animals have a stronger sense of smell than human beings. However, human beings can also smell thousands of various odors and the fragrances. So we also actually we can smell, right? The smell of the onion will be different, the smell of the atta will be different, the smell of dal will be different. So each and everything we can smell and we can identify. The nose is also an organ which help us in sense of taste, right? Sometimes what happen if it any kind of thing we wanted to eat, what do we know? What do we do? We actually before tasting it, we smell it, because with the help of that smell, we can identify whether that will be spicy, whether that will be sweet, or whether that will be sour in taste. For example, we can smell a gas leak. Sometimes what happened by mistakenly, we have turned on the gas. So through that olfactory sense organ, we can identify that smell also. Then the next one is the ears. Ears have a receptors which are called as phonoreceptors. Phonoreceptors. Phono means hear actually. Hear, hear. So the organ for the sense of hearing is ear. Hearing or auditory perception is the ability to perceive sound by detecting vibration. So with the help of the vibration, like in our ears, we have the different types of the parts are there. Basically, eardrum will be there. So with the help of that, the vibrations will be there, and because of those vibrations, the sound can be deducted. Changes in the pressure of the surrounding medium through time through an organ such as ear. For example, we hear music through earphones, which are inserted into our ears. Total or partial ability to hear is known as hearing loss. Sometimes what happens, some of the persons are not able to hear clearly. So in that case, that person might not have this functioning of ear in a proper way. The next sense organ is the skin. It is for the touch. And this is called as the thermoreceptors. These are called as the thermoreceptors. So the organ for the sense of touch is skin. Skin is the largest organ as it is located throughout the human body. So various receptors are used for different situations like pain, temperature, pressure. So if you play maybe football, you will experience a different kind of the pressure. If you play with a small ball, then the different touch will be there, right? So each and every kind of the situation will let you decide what kind of the touch it is. For example, when we touch something hot like hot cup of tea or coffee, we instantly move our hands away from it. So depending upon the situation, you will be deciding that touch, whether you should touch it, whether you should avoid it. Then the next one are the tongue. The organ for the sense of taste is the tongue. And tongue has a kind of the receptor which is called as gustatory receptors. What do they have? They have a receptor called as gustatory. So since our tongue has that taste buds on it, so that will be deciding the taste of any kind of the food. And that taste bud basically are the gustatory. They have the gustatory receptors in them. So the behind part of the tongue will deduct the bitter taste. The front part will deduct the salt taste. The side parts will deduct the sour taste, and the middle and the front part will be deducting the sweet taste. So since they have the gustatory receptor, this will be done. So you can see the last one is a bitter, the front one is a sweet, the front side one is a salty, and the back side ones are the sour in taste. So that is how the sense organs will be. Now the next one, reflex action. So this is actually a very, very important part. So if you touch any kind of the hot object, so what happens? The receptors will be there. Now what are the receptors? Receptors are nothing but they are the sense organs. Correct. So those receptors, those sense organs, they will be identifying actually what kind of the action this is. This is actually called as action. So touching of the hot object is what? Action. So when your sense organ has touched it, the sensory neuron will be sending the information to the spinal cord. Now this spinal cord basically will be now deciding what it is, and then ultimately they will be sending the response through the motor neuron. So always motor neuron will be bringing the result, or I can say response. So whatever the response we should do, that will be coming back from the motor neuron. And then finally, the motor neuron give that information to the muscle actually. And muscle, they will be doing? They will be taking the hand back. Fine. So if it is like, if you have to play the cricket, right? You have to see the ball. Now the receptors will be here, eye. Now through the eye, the message will be sent to the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron will be sending to the spinal cord. Then spinal cord will be sending that result to the motor neuron. Motor neuron will be sending result to the muscle. And what muscle they will be sending? To the eye muscle. And that is why with the help of the eyes, then what do we do? Our hands will start kicking the bat. So that is how the reflex action or reflex arc will be. So a reflex or reflex action is an involuntary and nearly instantaneous movement in response to a stimulus. A reflex is made possible by neural pathways called as reflex arc. So this complete pathway is called as the reflex arc, which can act on an impulse before that impulse reaches the brain. So see, if small things also, everything we have to send it to the brain, then what happens? Our brain will get overloaded, right? So to avoid that, these small and the fast actions are solved by the spinal cord. So it is a way for the body to automatically and rapidly respond to a stimulus. And the stimulus is what? It is an action. So respond to a stimulus to minimize any further damage to the body so that the further damage cannot be there. It follows this general sequence and does not involve the brain. So for this process, the brain is not being involved. Stimulus, receptors, sensory neuron, relay neuron, motor neuron, effectors, and response. So this is the correct sequence for the transformation of the messages. Then in simple words, reflex action is a sudden and involuntary response of effector. Effectors are basically what? The muscles. It can be the leg muscle, it can be the hand muscle, it can be eye muscle. So any muscles of our body, depending upon the situation to a stimulus. So withdrawal of hands when touched by hot thing, watering of mouth on seeing favorite food, coughing, sneezing, and blinking of eyes. They are some of the example of the reflex action. Then we have the different types of the nerves, sensory nerve. They are also known as the afferent nerves. They will be carrying the impulses from sensory receptors to the brain. So whatever the information will be there, through the sense organ, they will be taking it to the brain. The sensory functions of the nervous system, it involves the collecting information. So whatever the information that will be there, they will be collecting and then they will be giving it to the brain. Then in result, the motor neuron, they are called as efferent. They will be carrying the result actually. It is located in the central nervous system, usually the spinal cord, and which send the motor signals from central nervous system to the muscle. So whatever the answer is there, whatever response is there, they will be carrying it to the muscles. And finally, the muscles will answer towards that action. So motor nerves act as a nerve which carry information from the CNS as opposed to sensory nerves, which will be sending the signal in the periphery to the central nervous system. In a simple way, whatever information, whatever the result is there, they will be carrying it and then they will be responding towards it. And last one are the mixed nerve. They will have both sensory and the motor nerves with them. And they will be performing both action of the sensory nerve as well as the motor nerve. They will transform the electrical impulse from the central nervous system to the muscle of our body. So three types of nerve are there: sensory nerve, motor nerve, and mixed nerve. Sensory, they will be using the sense organ to transfer the messages from the sense organ to the spinal cord. Whereas the motor nerve, they will be sending the response from the spinal cord to the muscle. And then mixed nerve, they will have both the reactions together, which is the sensory neuron and the motor neuron together in the body. So that is how these nerves they will be working.
Mom, can you show a video?
I'll just play a video now related to
Mom, what is
this.
CNS? Mom,
Central nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord together they are called as a central nervous system.
okay, mom.
Shall I show you the reflex section of class 10th, because class 10th also they have this. This will be
Okay,
nice
ma'am.
one. I'll just show you this one. It's in Hindi.
इस वीडियो में हम समझेंगे
Okay,
रिफ्लेक्स
I'll
एक्शंस
show you a video which I think
जब
my
हम
student they made it. The model of this. Just let me see if I can get it now. Your videos. So one of my kid actually they have made the video on this reflex arc. It is not coming on this actually. Okay. Yeah. So this is actually they made it.
ड्यूई और प्लम्प स्किन चाहिए?
Make an appointment with this.
नया L'Oréal Paris Revitalift Water Cream, माइक्रो हाइलुरोनिक एसिड और सेरामाइड्स दे 50% इंस्टेंट हाइड्रेशन हर इंडियन स्किन के लिए।
सिर्फ swipe, hydrate, plump.
नया L'Oréal Paris Revitalift Water Cream,
We're worth it.
Hello everyone, we are students of Bhaditali CBSE School of Grade 10th. We have done a project on a reflex arc. Myself Sanjeevan is Ritik Krishna, is Balakti.
We have finite stimulus and a receptor is the hand and the sensory neuron and a spinal cord which is made from thermocol cutting and a motor neuron and a effectors which is a muscle and the response is lifting of hand.
The receptors in the hand feel the heat or pain and send the message to spinal cord through the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron replies through the relay neuron to the motor neuron to insist the effector in the arm to lift the arm. When the effector receives the message from the motor neuron, the response is lifting.
See, now they will be doing it.
So let us try.
See.
Thank you.
So when the hand basically touched that the flame, the heat, so because of that they have taken the hand back. So this was actually the working model they had created it.
हाँ, किसी हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट को टच करते हैं या अपने उंगलियों पर पिन चुभोते हैं, तब हमारा इमीडिएट रिएक्शन क्या होगा? नॉर्मली हम अपने हाथ को उस हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट या पिन से दूर हटा लेते हैं। ऐसी सिचुएशन में हमारा रिएक्शन हमेशा इमीडिएट होता है। ये पूरा प्रोसेस बिना थिंकिंग प्रोसेस के होता है। साइंस के टर्म में इस प्रोसेस को रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन कहते हैं। आइए इसे डिटेल में समझते हैं। एनिमेशन में रिफ्लेक्स आर्क को देखते हैं, जो कि रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन के पाथवेज को शो करता है। इस प्रोसेस में पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम के थ्रू स्टिमुलेशन अकर होता है और पेरिफेरल नर्व के थ्रू रिस्पॉन्स किया जाता है। रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन में स्पाइनल कोड ब्रेन स्टेम के साथ रिफ्लेक्स मूवमेंट के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है। इस पूरे प्रोसेस में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, जो कि कुछ इस तरह से हैं। रिसेप्टर ऑर्गन्स, सेंसरी न्यूरॉन्स, मोटर न्यूरॉन्स, इफेक्टर और स्पाइनल कोड। रिसेप्टर ऑर्गन्स बॉडी में क्रिएट होने वाले इंपल्सेस को रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं। रिसेप्टर सेंस ऑर्गन्स में मौजूद होते हैं। सेंसरी न्यूरॉन्स इंपल्स को रिसेप्टर से स्पाइनल कोड तक पहुंचते हैं। स्पाइनल कोड नर्व सेंटर है, जहां सिनेप्टिक कनेक्शंस बनते हैं। स्पाइनल कोड में एसोसिएटेड न्यूरॉन्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं। स्पाइनल कोड के वेंट्रल हॉर्न में मोटर न्यूरॉन्स होते हैं। इफेक्टिव ऑर्गन्स वो मसल्स और ग्लैंड्स होते हैं जो स्टिम्युलाई और इंपल्स को रिस्पॉन्स करते हैं। आइए अब समझते हैं रिफ्लेक्स आर्क कैसे काम करता है। रिफ्लेक्स आर्क एनिमेशन में हम रिफ्लेक्स आर्क को देखते हैं, जिसमें डिफरेंट सेंस ऑर्गन्स आपस में इंटरकनेक्टेड होते हैं। जब रिसेप्टर, जो कि सेंस ऑर्गन है, वो डेंजर को सेंस करता है, इसके बाद सेंसरी न्यूरॉन्स रिसेप्टर से सिग्नल पिक करते हैं और न्यूरॉन्स के थ्रू स्पाइनल कोड में सेंड करते हैं। इस सिग्नल को रिले न्यूरॉन्स रिसीव करते हैं, जो कि स्पाइनल कोड में प्रेजेंट होते हैं। सिग्नल रिसीव होने के बाद स्पाइनल कोड मोटर न्यूरॉन्स के थ्रू मसल में वापस सिग्नल भेजता है। मसल्स जो कि सेंस ऑर्गन से अटैच्ड होते हैं, वो मसल बॉडी पार्ट को डेंजर से दूर कर लेते हैं और ये सिग्नल ब्रेन तक ट्रैवल नहीं करते हैं। रिफ्लेक्स आर्क स्टिम्युलाई यानी इंपल्स को ब्रेन में पहुंचने से पहले ही इन पे एक्ट करता है, जिसके कारण ब्रेन का रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन पे कोई कंट्रोल नहीं होता है। रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन में स्टिम्युलाई को ऑटोमेटिक इंस्टेंटेनियस रिस्पॉन्स की जरूरत होती है। ये इंस्टेंटेनियस रिस्पॉन्स बिना ही कॉन्शियस थॉट के होता है।
So that is how I get
Ma'am, what is meaning of impulses?
me. Tell me, Adra.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of impulses?
Impulses, they are nothing but they're the signals. Fine. So what do? They will be carrying the signals from one place to the other place. Like for example, if you see a tiger, right, what you will do? Your eyes will be identifying the tiger, right? And एक बार आइडेंटिफाई करने के बाद वो क्या करेगी, हमारी जो आईज है वो सिग्नल भेजेगी. सिग्नल कैसे भेजेगी? इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इम्पल्स. जैसे कि टीवी की बात करें, टीवी इज कनेक्टेड टू अ वायर, राइट? Same way, in our body, we have a different nerves, and those nerves, in the form of the impulse, they sends the messages. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
So, any other doubt, Advait and Advik, you have?
No, ma'am.
How was
Ma'am,
my
Ma'am, I had same question. What are impulses? But now it is clear.
Okay, fine. Any other thing? Any other doubt?
No, ma'am.
When you have your exam?
Ma'am, science.
Science 1.
Ma'am, science is on 23rd.
So tomorrow, then, in that case, we will revise all the 3 chapters. I think the nervous system, the skeletal system, the animals, the plants, right? 4 chapters.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
And diseases also.
Yes, ma'am. And natural resources is also a chapter.
Natural resources, what all topics you have in that chapter?
Ma'am, non-renewable resources, nitrogen, oxygen, water, and
Cycle.
also,
Oxygen cycle,
Yes,
water
ma'am.
cycle, all those things.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So for that, oxygen cycle, water cycle, carbon cycle also you have?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Only oxygen and water cycle.
Yes.
Ma'am, in that there is one diagram that is presenting that nitrogen and
Nitrogen cycle.
oxygen are combined of these.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll share you the oxygen cycle, the water cycle, the nitrogen cycle, and the carbon cycle. These 4 cycles diagram I'll share you in a very easy way. Fine. So practice those diagram क्योंकि उसके अंदर कुछ नहीं है. They have only those things कि कैसे circulate करता है the movement of those, the carbon, the movement of the oxygen, who take it, who pass it. So all those things will be there, right? So that I will be sharing, and also the worksheet of renewable and non-renewable resources, the examples. Okay, can you tell me, Advait, what is renewable? What are renewable resources?
Ma'am, renewable resources are those resources that are replenished by the natural things. For example, water and wind.
Is he correct, Advik?
Ma'am, they are the natural resources that are replenished rapidly by natural things. So it's correct, ma'am.
Okay. So renewable resources are nothing but basically they are present on our earth, right? They can be replenished. What do you mean by replenished? You both have used the word replenish. What do you mean by that?
Ma'am, regenerated.
Regenerate. So we can actually regenerate them. So they can be, see, you are using actually the wrong word in the wrong place. So renewable resources, they are those resources which can be regenerate. Okay. So why some of the other way? Whereas non-renewable, we cannot regenerate. Fine. So once they are replenished, it means replenish means something, which is not available actually. We cannot regenerate. So don't use the word replenish. You have to say that renewable resources are those resources which can be regenerated. Okay. And non-renewable cannot be regenerated, right? If I talk about the coal, petroleum, if once it is like, not on the earth, we cannot regenerate them. Fine. So replenish means once it gets over, okay, we cannot recharge them. That is what replenish is. Fine. Regenerate means we can make it like, again we can find some of the other thing for that. Fine. So different types are there. Thermal energy, then you have CNG, you have the LPG, all those different gases are there. So that also I'll share with you. And tomorrow then I will revise all those 4 chapters, whatever is coming in your exam. So today what do you do? When you have your next exam now?
Ma'am, computer and then third language.
When it is computer?
And the day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow.
Okay, so take out some maybe 1 hour today and just revise the complete chapters of the science, so that tomorrow when you come in the class, so you can come with the doubts. Fine, and those doubts we can work on and we can revise the whole chapters.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then, Advait.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye
Bye,
bye
ma'am.
bye.